Scan it. Back in front. They score. Couturier. And what a play by Trevor Zegras. Zegras out-muscled two Panthers and got it to Coots in front, who's got his second goal of the game. It's 3-2.
Oh, the puck is dropped. We're underway. Who called that guy, Punani, by the way? Was it you? Was it
No.
you, Ace?
No way.
I would never call Mr. Zegras, and he's going to be Mr. Zegras after that play. I would never call Mr. Zegras such a name. But anyway, it's the Puck Drop Pod. It's Chris. It's Ace. We're back. It's the 25-26 season. Flyers should be 2-1. We'll get to that later, but they're 1-1-1. Hockey's back, Ace. How does it feel, bro?
Oh man, Chris, I'm so bored of the summer. I hate the heat now. I wanted hockey season so bad. I was over here streaming preseason games. That's how bored I was. The Flyers, streaming the Flyers.
Throughout the offseason, I was reliving the 2010 run on YouTube. That's all I had.
I can't do that to myself. I just can't do it anymore.
You just skip. You don't even watch the overtime in Game 6. You don't watch it. But look, Ace,
No.
It's another hockey season. We're back. Puck Drop Pod. Trevor Zegras, a lot of positivity around the Xfinity Mobile Arena. Is that what it is now? The Xfinity Mobile Arena. Formerly, it'll always be the Wells Fargo to me. It'll always be the FU Center to me. It'll always be the Walk. What is it now? The X?
The X.
The X.
We're gonna buy the name from Ron.
Whatever it is, the vibes, as they say, the kids say, the vibes are high, man. So start to the season 1-1-1. Could have been 2-1 if it wasn't for a phantom goalie interference call. Trevor Zegras is hot. I've got the 79 back on. Make 79 great again. I had wings before this.
Man.
Made Carter Hart. Yeah, I did. Made Carter Hart a cuck again.
Here's your 30 seconds of fame, buddy.
Look, it's okay. The wings didn't fit. We must have quit, Ace. In case you didn't know. You don't understand. Carter Hart was accused of sexual assault with a bunch of other guys. Somebody, according to the court records, legend has it, was eating wings in the middle of the, let's just call it what it is, the gangbang. So, like you do, buffalo, blue cheese or ranch, or something else. That wasn't in the court records.
Only 30 seconds.
But he was acquitted. He was acquitted, and so you're allowed to wear 79 again. At least I think so. The internet will give us. The internet will give us a
goalie,
backlash.
right?
What's that?
He was a goalie.
So I've heard.
For us. Yeah, he's used to stopping shots.
Well, he wasn't.
Why was he giving?
He wasn't blocking too much there.
He
should have been blocking there.
I'm gonna get us sued.
Hold on, I locked my girlfriend out. Hold on one second.
I'll just. All right. Well, I guess I will talk. That was a good beginning of the season. Your girlfriend can come in and join the conversation.
Yeah.
I'm going to remember her name easily.
Yeah, of course.
Michelle.
I thought didn't you have the garage door open?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. Nobody's watching. It's all good.
Hey, welcome back.
Ace says hello.
As long as Carter Hart lasted.
I was gone in one Carter Hart gangbang.
You were gone. This episode lasted one Carter Hart.
That would be 30 seconds, by the way. Imagine going to court and everybody on planet Earth or whoever was looking at the transcripts, whoever was following along with the case, knows how long you last in bed. You believe that?
That's so embarrassing. I can't believe that.
It's terrible.
And with all the jokes we're making, we're gonna get sued. They're gonna come looking for me and find me instantly, and they're gonna knock on your door, and they're gonna be like, "Yeah, I have a subpoena here for Christopher Curmudgeon."
Crywidge. Anybody? All right, we got off track. But anyway, the Flyers. Yeah, we're back. It's another season. It's 1-1-1. And look, positives, negatives, but we're on a positivity train right now, Ace. And let's pull up some positives. Number one, 79. 79's wearable again. Why do I have so much Static. Oh my god, Jesus. Anyway,
Well, it's because you summoned Carter Hart.
yeah, I summoned Carter Hart, and he's wrecking my whole situation here. But anyway, number
But to
one,
stay positive, we're hanging up with those guys.
yeah, number one, we got like Zegras' play. Let's talk about that because I have been highly critical, very critical,
Mhm.
and so far
Mhm.
so good. I mean, a good play last night, well, a highlight reel play last night. So that's what I guess you hope you're going to get throughout the season.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God, man, his hands. He's so good in tight, and he draws people to him so fast. And that's what I like to see. I like people watching him because the more people that watch him, it's going to leave other people open. And as soon as we get these lines together, that's going to be good for Michkov.
Well, right now we'll get to that. We're positive. I don't want to go into the I don't want to stray into the negative side of it. But yeah, Zegras first, energy, the effort. I think it's the Tocchet effect or the removal of Torts effect, I guess.
Yeah, change of scenery. He's from this area. I mean, he's the East guy. I think he's from New York, but you know, getting drafted, going out to Anaheim, playing for those man, their last I can't even remember their coach's name because he was such a dick. But Pat Verbeek was so hard on Zegras. He just wanted to play hockey the way he wanted to, and the only way he knew, and you can't change that. And that I don't want to change that. I don't care about him defensively. I want that. I want to see him try all the Michigans and behind the back passes and stuff like that. That's fun. You need that.
Yeah, I saw a interview with Tocchet. I think before the game last night. I think actually, and I think he's got the right mindset where it's like, yeah, you don't want to like hamper these guys and their creativity, especially with a guy like him. But I think that you also want to teach them to do it in the right spots, right? Because you'll have like
Yeah.
a Michkov try some silly stuff because he can, and maybe at a certain point he'll be able to
Yeah.
pull it off more often than not. But I think you want to get to a point where you're making plays, but you're making highlight reel plays, but you're doing it in a smart situation. I think that's where he's at, where you would have the old coach, the old regime, kind of trying to block that thing from happening and trying to
Yeah.
block that creativity, no matter what he said. But I think it's a different mindset, and I think so far it's been refreshing.
Yeah. Refreshing is actually a great word for it because it's fun. You get the feels again. It reminds you of being a kid almost, like you were
Yeah.
watching back in the day.
Hmm.
His talent is just phenomenal. Those hands. I don't care how small he is. First, he's not even that small. You know what I mean? Like he's
No,
smaller.
he's tall.
He
He's
can
just
play
not.
center.
Yeah, he's like 6'1", 6 foot, but skinny. So,
He's like 6
but
on the dot. Yeah.
but you think about guys who play bigger than what they really are. So I think he's one of those. Look, I've been hypercritical of him, and I got to be honest with you. I don't think I sat down too much and watched his game too much. It was more so, the highlight reel
Do you need
stuff
a
that you get.
You want
A
a
recommendation.
Go back and watch his World Junior push when him and Cam York were on the same team. That was fun.
Yeah.
If you want to watch some stuff.
Well, I think, it's one of those, and we definitely touched on it before, where it's one of those moves that could potentially be a franchise-changing move. And now, look, it's only 3 games in.
It
He
worked
pulled
out,
off
yeah.
something great. So maybe we're overreacting, and of course, I mean, it's the beginning of the season, so we might just
Oh, yeah.
we might just be a little fired
Honeymoon
up.
period kind of thing.
And we'll see how it goes because you're going to get the good and you're going to get the bad of them for sure. But I think you're in one of those situations where potentially, for what you gave up for him, I think that it makes what you've lost already a little bit easier to handle. Cutter Gauthier to name the obvious name.
Yeah. It almost the difference in value it's funny to sit back and think about that because I'm talking about a potential trade for Trevor Zegras and who we'd be willing to send the other way.
Right.
And then, combine that with the Cutter trade, whether you think Cutter Gauthier is the better player than Drysdale, he may end up being better than Drysdale. But when you throw Zegras in there, like we ripped them off at that point if Zegras turns into what we think he will be.
Yeah, and it's one of those things where Danny was really smart in that sense. Like, you didn't give up anything. It's all upside. And we said that at the time. And you're seeing it now. And I think that's really something that, good teams or teams that want to expedite that rebuild have to do. And that kind of fell into their lap. Mitchkov falls into your lap. So maybe that luck is,
you got to get some of these.
Right. You got to get lucky. You got to
exactly.
get fortunate. And I think, so far so good. I could admit when I'm wrong, and I might be wrong.
Teams,
what's that?
When you look at those winning teams, you look at Florida and how they ended up picking up off the waiver wire, Gustav Forsling. Like, you got to make hits eventually. You've got to run into things like that.
Right.
And I'm really hoping Zegras, Brink. We'll talk about him later. I think Brink is one of those guys who could potentially be a hit as well.
I mean, he's been a lot of guys have been strong so far. I mean, you're going up against. The NHL didn't really do you any favors with, how the schedule has started, right? You get the Cup champs back, and they're a little bit. I mean, they're knocked up right now, but knocked up is probably knocked up. Knocked up is not the right. Nicked up is what I was going for. Yeah, they're not. They're all pregnant, so it's tough.
I didn't know what you were talking about.
Yeah, they're all pregnant, so it's tough, for them to skate. That's how it works. They're nicked up right now. I mean, when you're arguably missing your two best players, or two of your best players for sure. It's I don't know how great of a test it was, but that Carolina game, you go into Carolina to start the season-ish, second game of the season. It's a tough game, and without a Bobby Brink without a who drove the net there, it doesn't really matter, but whoever did. Without a bad call, you're potentially 2-1 against the Cup champs and Carolina. So you're going up against good teams, regardless if they're knocked up, nicked up, whatever they are up. You're showing that, and again, let's not get ahead of ourselves because we've seen this before, especially in the beginning of the season. We'll see how they end it. But the Tocchet regime, I would say, is off to a good start.
Yeah, solid, good. Better than what I expected. Everything is positive for these first three games. I know we didn't win the first two. Should have won one of them. And that's, the way he handled that afterwards, too. We'll get into it later about his quotes and stuff like that after the game.
Mm-hmm.
But to play that well against two teams and, keep them in check. And they were playing to one of my biggest complaints about the Flyers of past, they would always try to play a different style. They'd try to be themselves and force the other guys to play against them. Wherein we're not good enough to do that. So, playing against the team in their house, their way of hockey, and keeping up with them, that's really positive.
Yeah, and again, things that we talked about in the past have pretty much come to, not to say we predicted the future, but it was an easy prediction, a reputation that John Tortorella had, which was not developing young kids. And that kind of, you saw it. I mean, as soon as you change coaches now, you're seeing more development. Guys like you said, Brink, Drysdale looks strong. I mean, Couturier is not developing, but he's coming back what looks like pretty healthy, 4 points in 3 games. Yeah. So you're looking like...
Let's get it. That looks good.
He looks the best I've seen him look in a while. He's never going to be a skater, but that's not really what you're looking for in a guy like him. You're just looking for the control of the game. And he's done that. 2 goals last night, and just looks really, really good. Faceoffs are always there, but just looks like a Couturier that, all right, the contract doesn't look so bad if that's the guy you're going to get.
Yeah, exactly. I think that he is obviously feeling much better. His comments after one of the games, he mentioned, it's fun to play hockey when you can put socks on and not be in pain. And that's pretty telling. And even though he was kidding, like he was joking, he was being serious with some of that. And it's kind of sad to think about that. The past 3 years, essentially, been playing in pain or just in pain in general.
Yeah.
I think he looks a half step faster than he did last year, which is good. And I didn't think he would be able to gain that back. So watching him skate again, it's refreshing to see somebody feel like it would be nice to run into, like we said, getting lucky. It would be nice to run into a player similar to Patrice Bergeron, who we always compared him to. People forget Bergeron had a ton of injury prior to that, and he played till he was about 38, I believe, 38, 39, something like that.
Yeah.
So it
long
could,
career.
the way their styles are the same, so it could easily, he could have a good couple of years left in him still.
Yeah, and I think, going back to the coaching thing, because I think that's the biggest story so far is, I think that little run of Tortorella might actually, it looks like the change, just going through that, kind of slingshots you into this year where, you got your ass kicked, you went through that kind of that experience, and then you've got a guy that's hard on you, but I think he's a player's coach, and I think that everybody that has played for him, regardless of where he was, has nothing but good things to say. So I think that Tortorella experience kind of slingshots you into this season where you're seeing guys just full of energy because it's like a weight off your back. And I think, like I said, we said that Tortorella was, we just pretty much reiterated what I think, the general consensus was with Tortorella was, no, you're not going to get a guy who's going to develop kids. But they did get an experience, and I think that it's showing now where once he's gone, you get the right guy in here, and now we can start moving.
Exactly, and you can tell right off the bat, Tocchet knows what to say to these kids.
Yeah.
He knows what to say. He knows the medium to deliver it by, whether he's on the phone and face to face, and he gets it. And it's a lot easier to play for a guy who just gets it. And
Right.
he played. He was phenomenal, Hall of Fame kind of guy.
And that's
that
something.
comes.
And that's something. There's something to be said to that too. And it's not like, I don't think to be a good coach. Obviously, you don't have to have played the game, right? It doesn't really matter. But there is something about if you can be a coach, and you can be a good coach that at least has that extra piece of credibility, and that's where he's at now. And I think that's going to make a big difference here, for whatever reason. It's just, I think that the group that you have, I think, just responds a little bit better to somebody like him. And in the beginning, we said, oh well, it's a typical Flyers hire, which it kind of is, but that doesn't mean it can't work out. And I think that so far what you're seeing is 1,000% positive. We'll see how it goes, but 3 games in, really, really good. I mean, you're talking about guys like Drysdale. You're talking about guys like Brink. But guy that we haven't touched on yet is Grabenkin, which I don't want to get ahead of myself either, but what you saw last night was pretty special. When it's down low, I don't want to say it's Baby Yager. I don't. I'm not saying it. People are saying it, not me, but he's Baby Yager. That's what I see. That kind of puck possession is special. He's got those tools, and for a guy to come in and be able to control the offensive zone like that, pretty special. And again, that's another one you might have hit on.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. That could be a diamond in the rough right there.
Mm-hmm.
And you're right about the similarities with the style that Yager played, the protect the puck. You're come get it, and the second you come get it, you're leaving somebody else open, and that's what he is looking for. And we've heard it all season so far, is that the knock on Grabenkin's been his skating. I don't see that at all. I don't
care.
Know why.
Don't care.
Yeah.
Like, we got a whole bunch of guys who have that knock on them, and it doesn't matter. Like, you're quick enough. He's quick enough. First couple steps down low, and I don't care if you're going end to end McDavid style. That's not. It's not going to win games in the playoffs. That's the game. That's the kind of game that kid has. The kind of game that will translate into tough games, into games like that. You saw him against a really physical team like the Panthers, who Paul Maurice's style. It's get down, beat the D. You've seen it a million times in the playoffs.
Yep.
Pound their D, so they've got nothing
pound,
left.
pound.
Pound their D. And, you saw a style of game that we have not seen in a long time with that kind of skill. Again, one game, I don't want to get out of control, but what you see right now is something that those pieces are there. You saw it last night. What did we say? Forster shot. Saw that. Gurbenkin down low. Saw that. Zegras' creativity. Saw that. Drysdale being elusive on the blue line. Got that. So all the check marks are being checked, or the boxes are being checked. And so it's really exciting right now. And it was good to see.
All about consistency.
Right. And the Flyers didn't score on a power play, but still got an ovation because they controlled it. It looked good. It should have been in the net. So much positive and also a little bit of negative, right? So let's get into that. There's a little bit of negative. Matt
You can't concentrate on negative. You'll never get better.
Exactly. So number one, the glaring one is Matvei Miskov has been a little bit, has been a little bit, I don't want to say invisible, but had a tough stretch so far. And the coach has commented on it. I think he knows it. And so it's been a little bit of rough skid for the kid.
Yeah, he it's got to be something about that sophomore slump, man. Or maybe he's just nervous. They said the ankle injury. Maybe he doesn't look as quick as he was before. But I don't know if I buy that because he looked pretty damn quick in those preseason games. And all of a sudden he's not that quick. Now I know when we're playing preseason, we're playing, ECHLers, or AHLers and, guys who don't even have contracts. But, and you jump right in and you're playing the champions. That's hard. And as a young kid, I can see that being a hard thing and wanting to, the way Couturier played that game where he scored the 4 points, I have got to feel, or I have a feeling that something was said in that locker room to be like, let your vets be vets and you do what you want to do. Like you do your job essentially. And I think he's kind of been like, all right, I'll let Coots do his thing. I'm on a line with Coots and TK, all that stuff. I'll let them do their thing. No, you're better than them. Coots is not fast. Konechny is Konechny. He's a great guy to have on your line if you're a scorer. He'll help you drive, but it's one of those things where you're just gonna constantly pass to them because you want them to be good too.
Yeah, look, it's probably a mixture of all the things we kind of touched on. The sophomore thing, people eyeing him up a little bit more. The ankle, maybe he's a little bit injured. New system, whatever it might be. I at the end of it, he's the last person you really worry about.
I'm not worried about it.
No.
Yeah.
Again,
not at all.
I think we might be going a little bit too far with the positivity, but also we can go too far with the negativity too. And I don't think that's the kind of guy that you're really, you're gonna sit there and, oh man, is this what we're gonna get for the rest of the season? I don't see
the talent.
Yeah,
you can see the talent. It's there. He had 2-3 bad games. Just as quickly, he could have a 4-point night tomorrow, like Coots did, and we're forgetting all about this.
Right. So we'll see how it goes. Again, what do we got? What do we got next? We got Minnesota tomorrow night. So we'll see how that goes. Something else too. I think that if you talk to Yegor Zamola's agent, he's the next coming of Bobby Orr, who thinks his agent needs to shut up because you've got a guy who has gotten a lot of minutes. Definitely last year. You don't see him this year because honestly, he's not that good of a player. He was terrible in the preseason. And so probably not the time to come out and say, my client hasn't gotten a good fair shake, enough shot with the Flyers. You were on the ice way more than you should have been last year. And honestly, if Adam Ginning, or Yinning, if you're Jim Jackson, I don't know. Is it a soft J? It might be yogging. Apparently, you just run for an extended period of time. Adam Yinning going yogging. Adam Yinning looks out of place. You saw him come out of the lineup last night for Emil Andre. So I think
We'll look now.
yeah, and we'll get to that too. But I think the general consensus is when Cam York comes back, you'll be a little bit more solidified on that top end there. But the depth is concerning. You don't you would have liked to see a younger kid other than Yinning,
Mm-hmm.
take that spot. Nobody did. Hunter McDonald, Bonk was probably a long shot to take that spot, but you would have liked to see it. Right. You would have liked to see it, but that's fine. Let him sit down in the AHL. But I think the lack of defensive depth is going to be an issue, unless Andre, he looked great last night, but he's looked good in spurts throughout the young career that he's had so far. So we'll see. But that defensive depth so far is a problem.
I want to see Andre play this well for just a couple of weeks so that we can build up his trade value, so that he brings us more. We can't keep rolling out these redundant, small, skinny, left-handed top 4 defensemen. We need to get something else,
Yeah, and I think that's where you need to luck into or make a big trade or both, but you need to luck in like we did with a couple other guys here on the back end because, it's an issue, and I don't think, and it's a problem that, you didn't hear anybody really take that next step in their development this year. Like we said, the Hunter McDonald. You're the prospect guy because I'm missing somebody else too. You're the prospect guy. I got a guy.
I got a guy, guys.
I got a prospect guy.
One of the things about the prospects aside, when you bring up trading into something, you need to find the right team. And I don't know if you noticed this. Most of the teams that made the big trades traded with each other, if that makes any sense. Like watching Colorado and Carolina and Dallas making trades with each other, it's really weird to see that good of a team. You don't usually see that. So like I think we brought it up earlier about somebody posted, would you do the trade for Rasmus Dahlin? And
we talked about that earlier today. What was the specifics of that trade?
It was Owen Tippett, Oliver Bonk, our 2027 first round pick, and Emil Andre.
Yeah.
So they're not going to take that.
No, of course. I mean, you would do it in a heartbeat. Yeah.
I'm sure they're drooling over Owen Tippett. They're probably thinking Tage Thompson 2.0, but
yeah. So I mean, you do it, but I think you gotta prey on somebody like Verbeek. But I think where you get a Zegras, like they're just kind of giving him away. I don't know where you would go there, but there's gotta be a move. And again, you have to trust what they're doing right now because every move that they've made, you've got a couple depth pieces that Juleson, that they brought in. Okay.
We were talking about you're getting the prospects in on here, and that's one of the things we've got to remember is, I mentioned this online after watching one of the games. I saw somebody comment something about, lather, rinse, repeat, 2 to 3 years away. I'm like, guys, that's you can think that all you want, but it's about to get really fun. We're loaded with prospects. We're loaded with draft picks. Yeah, I hate to say it, but I'll just name a few. All of Forster, Brink, Martone, Zegras, who am I missing on the right? Even Michkov. These guys aren't all going to be playing for us relatively soon. We are going to be making big trades, and we're going to be cashing in on some stuff. So, and then you go deeper. You go with Barkey, who've already started out great in the AHL, and Bonk. Like these guys aren't all going to play for us. We're going to have to give up some of these things, but we've got a cupboard that is completely loaded now. Obviously Michkov and Martone are untouchable, and then you've got Zavragin coming in to play goal, and probably next year, really.
We don't need him. We got Dan Vladar.
Yeah, Vezina Vladar.
Vezina Vladar. And look, you can say what you want. He's looked good. He's a upgrade over Fedotov, who he's a big guy. Had a little bit of I mean, you don't want to see him fall down and give up a tying goal last night, but generally he's been better than I thought he was going to be. Again, everything's been really, really good. Even Urson's been not bad, but I think Urson's going to be what Urson is, and hopefully, and I think Tocchet sees that as well because you got Vladar in 2 of the 3 games so far.
Yeah, he's definitely noticing it, and I think almost everybody who's watched noticed it. Because even in the preseason, I was like, wow, we might have gotten something here with Vladar. He shut us out. It was last year, right? Didn't he shut us out last year?
Yeah, but a lot of people shut us out, so it's okay.
Yeah, that's true. I was dumb.
That's not a good barometer. That's not a good
for me to you on that one.
Yeah, didn't he shut us out? I think we would have got shut out by the Zamboni driver. So
wait, while we're on goalies, can I just do my rant before we finish this off?
Yeah. So you wanted to go off about the goalie interference, right? So Brink's goal in overtime,
Yes.
taken back because of what looked like a phantom goalie interference call. Whoever was in net for Carolina at the time, I guess it was their backup, but he reaches out to make contact with the guy coming across the crease. Gets out of position. He did it because he knew. I think it looks like he knows he's going to be out of that. He's going to be out of the play anyway. So let me try to make contact and get that kind of almost like in football where you'll see the quarterback throw a pass that's way over it, way over where it's intended, and the receiver will run into he'll run into the DB and get the call. So it's kind of like I'm initiating contact and you get the penalty. So the floor is yours.
Yeah.
Sir. Rant. Go ahead.
My rant about this is, so was it goalie interference? By definition, it sure was. I mean, the goalie was interfered with, whatever. I am so over goalies getting gigantic, being 6'7", and being the most protected player on the ice with the pads and everything, and the second somebody frickin' sneezes on you near the blue crease, it's no goal, and there's no consistency, and everybody gets pissed off about it. But we're talking about 6'5" men in pads. Just take some actual hits. Like goalies should be able to be hit behind the net if they're playing the puck, and the play that Sanheim made, he did try to avoid him. When he cut across the crease, what I like to do is I like to watch the player's eyes when they do the replays, because you can see where they're looking without turning their head. Most of them will try and do that. And when you watch that play, you can see Sanheim look straight at the goalie. I can't remember his name, Tarasov or something like that. Something like that. And you can see he made a slight change out. He was going right in there, and then he changed it, and the goalie saw that too. And what did the goalie do? The goalie reacted to him being hit, maybe, but also throwing his arms out. He wanted to initiate contact. If he's in the crease, as in the goalie, and he sticks his arms out like that to either protect himself or anything, that should be fine. Like Sanheim very obviously wasn't trying not to hit him because he knew there was a game-winning goal to be scored. Yeah. Not to mention, he was so far out of the play prior to even being in contact. There is no way he was making that save, regardless of Sanheim being there. And Brink would have had an empty net anyway. I think each goaltender interference should have some, I don't want to say gray area because that's, we don't want that. We want the right call. But there should be some kind of, well, what was the intent? Was there intent, like we do with the boarding or hits to the head? Did it show intent? Did the guy literally lift his arm up to hit him in the head? There needs to be an intent rule for that. Rant over. I'm tired of 6'5" goalies pretending like they're babies in a china shop.
Yeah, and so if that goes our way, you're 2-1. You're even more ecstatic about it, and you're playing with like we already said. We're playing with the we're playing with the best of the best. Didn't do us any favors, but we're home pretty much the rest of the month. A huge homestand to start, so you'll take that trade-off. I think you'll take the the big homestand for the tougher schedule, and so
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes. Player of the game gets the Bernie mask. That's a positive. I love that. I got the Bernie mask up,
Loved
and
that.
I would have been
Oh,
streaming
yeah.
from the game room if we could have got the internet working, but we're down here. We'll try to figure that out. So what do we? I mean, where are we at for expectations for the season? Right, like it's off to a pretty good start. We'll see how it goes, but gun to your head, where do you see this team finishing? Everybody, obviously, before the season started, which means nothing, but people who know what they're talking about have them right where they were about last year, like fifth worst in the league. I don't know if
Yeah.
I see that necessarily as we start. Goaltending could go downhill quick, sure. Defense doesn't look too
Injuries.
good, but call ups, and we'll see if there's any trades. But as we stand, as the as the team is, what are we looking for? What do you expect at least?
In the offseason, I thought the same thing. In the preseason, I thought the same thing. And through these first 3 games, I think the same thing. I think they're going to overachieve. And I think that's going to be due to the Tocchet effect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they will make the playoffs for the first time in 5, 6 years, something like that. And I think
since the COVID,
I think they'll make it
since
in.
the COVID thing.
Yeah. So I have them making the playoffs, just squeaking in. Yeah, that's what I think. I haven't deviated from that. I definitely, with the moves that they made, Tocchet push.
Yeah. I mean, so far so good. I don't know. I do know. I don't think they're that bad again. And if they are, then I think we're in trouble, because even the people that are pushing the buttons and pulling the strings are saying this has to be. They've already put that pressure on.
Yeah.
This has to be better than it was last year. And if you finish fifth worst, sure, you get the pick. But I think it says more about, that would be a disaster area for me, because that means the guys that you have now haven't made a lick of difference. And if you have a healthy Coots, that changes a lot of things. If Vladar can keep up that kind of strength in net, that changes some things. If Andre plays the way he played last night, changes some things. Mitchkov takes a jump, which hasn't done it yet, but if he takes that next step, that changes things. Zegras, 70 points, 80 points, probably not, but you never know. I mean, that was like I think last season, that was or when the trade was made, I think that's what, the bold prediction was. It's if you get a guy that can just jump in, get 65, 70 points for you, 75 points. Mitchkov takes that step. Now you're talking about something different. So, if they do finish fifth worst, that would mean probably none of those things have happened. And you probably don't.
If they finish fifth worst, that means their defense was terrible and they had another crappy power play, which the defense thing could be possible.
Sure.
Really hoping that power play, even if we're slightly better with the power play and get slightly better goaltending, we'll be all right.
Yeah, I think a tandem there with Urson and Vladar, if all things hold up, if this is what it is, right? Stat quo, it just this is the way it works. I think you'll be fine. Look, there'll be some call-ups.
I think you can squeak into the playoffs.
Right, there'll be some call-ups. There'll be, again, there's no way that you go through this season without some type of move, I think.
And at the end of the season, the reason we're going to make the playoffs, because Porter Martin signs his ELC and joins the team, because his college season came to an end.
Yeah, that's definitely a possibility for sure. That would be great too. You're. Oh man, now you got me all fired up.
So, did you get your spot on Broadway or Broad Street?
Broad Street. Look,
we're going to Broadway.
Look, man, as long as you clinch a spot, that would be great. We'll see how it goes, but again, everything's been positive. Coach is positive. Players seem to be taken to it. So we'll see where we're at. 1-1-1, and we don't have Minnesota. I thought it was Minnesota, but we have Winnipeg. Those Jets of Winnipeg coming up on Thursday. So we'll see how that goes.
They're home.
They're home for a while. We got Minnesota on Saturday, 7 p.m. at the X again. So, they're home for quite some time. I'm looking down the list here. They go to Ottawa on the 23rd. So the next 3 are at home. Then you go to those Ottawa Senators and Mr. Claude Giroux. And future Flyer Brady Tkachuk. So I don't know how it's going to happen. Don't care. It's going to happen. I'm putting it at – no, yeah, you would have to give up. Yeah, but that's okay. I think I would do it. But, we'll see how it goes. So streaming on YouTube. We're going to be on the Facebook, on the YouTube, on the Spotify. Don't talk to me about Apple. I've tried. I'm still paying for it. I've really tried. So we'll figure that out. I'm halfway to internet upstairs, so we'll have a better visual experience. At least.
Are we going to try and do this Tuesday, Sunday thing?
Yeah, let's get on a regular schedule. That'd be cool. Tuesday, Sunday seems good. And then we're going to be on the same schedule coming up in the beginning of the year, so it'll be easier to kind of finagle that. And so 1-1-1. We'll see how this next little stretch goes, but we'll be so much more regular in the bathroom and on the podcast, I guess. I don't know. Odd choice of words.
That's how you know the episode.
Yeah. So this is when you're done, right? Spotify, all that, wherever you get your podcast, we'll be on. We'll share it, subscribe, do all that stuff. And Ace, I'll see you next time, bro.
All right, see ya.